Italian Citizenship Assistance, helping you realize your dream of becoming an Italian citizen.
My name is Andrea, and I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois, and I now live in Tucson, Arizona.
My name's Nina, and I'm from New Hampshire, right north of Boston in the United States. The way I found out about Italian citizenship by descent was one night my husband was watching YouTube, and the next morning he said to me, "Did you know you can claim your Italian citizenship by descent through your relatives?" And it was like throw the clipboard. From that moment on, the next morning, I didn't stop doing the research. I was just totally invested in it. So it was a really fascinating happenstance finding on YouTube.
I found out about applying for Italian citizenship through descent because of a cousin who had posted that he had received Italian citizenship on Facebook, and I was really intrigued by it. So I contacted him and asked him the steps that he went through, and just knew that it was an opportunity for me also as well. After us talking, that I felt like I qualified. I've always wanted to live in Europe. So to be able to be an Italian citizen and the benefit of being able to not only be able to live in Italy, but to be able to live anywhere in the European Union, and also for my children, college, and being able to have the benefits of a lower cost for college, possibly not even payment for college, so if they're interested.
The reason for me behind wanting to get my Italian citizenship was very similar to Andrea's. I work remotely, so my husband and I have been talking about living as digital nomads, moving around, and then the possibility that this opened up, that we could actually stay in some place in Italy, in Europe for an extended period of time, was just an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. And of course, Italy is just wonderful. So we met up because Andrea arrived about 2 weeks after me to start the process of applying here in Italy, and we both came here alone. So it was so wonderful that we were able to connect, to go through the same experiences at the same time, share knowledge, and it is really difficult to move to a new country where you barely speak any of the language, and so to have someone going through that same experience was really refreshing.
When we connected, it was through our representative that was working with us at ICA, and so she put us in contact together, and we were able to meet and go out and have dinner the first night that we met, and we just hit it off. And just being able to have somebody that speaks the language, somebody that you can talk to about the process, the trials and tribulations about living in another country. So it's been really nice to be able to share that with her. When I was researching the process to go through with my Italian citizenship, I came across a video from Kristen, and she was standing here in Rovigo and talking about the whole experience, and I thought, wow, I want to do that. I want to be here. I want this whole experience. And it's not even about the citizenship, which is the end result, which is great, but it was the whole process. It was the whole process of coming here, of living here, of experiencing everything, and everything that she talked about in the video, even the music school and being able to hear the music with the Tuesday markets. And you can hear the music, and experience of being here was really amazing, and it really inspired me. I also felt very confident in my decision with ICA after speaking with them and watching her video, that it helped me make my decision to go with the company as well.
When I found out that you could apply here and you could have help every step of the way, I didn't change my mind. I made the decision to go with ICA.
As soon as everybody was able to travel back here again, Nina and I, we talked about it. We were both, even though we didn't know each other, we were both going through the same experience, that as soon as the borders opened up, we were coming. ICA knew that we were ready to be here, and that as soon as we had the opportunity, we were coming. And so that's how we ended up showing up at the same time, because we were just proactive with making sure that we could get over here and get our citizenship.
And I think another thing, speaking of that, it makes me think of when I first arrived and Eleonora helping us into our apartments, and you know, just being able to walk in and she says, I have an apartment for you to stay in. Just knowing that you have some place to land and that it's all set up for you also is a huge peace of mind. And that's a great part of this too. Having ICA by my side through this whole process, and you know, you have your specific contact. Eleonora was my angel, that's what I call her actually. So it's just been so wonderful because government paperwork is so confusing even in your native language. So to have someone who speaks Italian, who can go to the offices with you, tells you where and when to show up, what to bring, what to expect, and just to have you guided every step of the way has just been so wonderful. I would highly recommend it to anybody considering this.
Working with ICA, I think really was truly a blessing because I don't feel that I would have been able to do the process on my own, especially now going through the process and seeing what it took, the paperwork, getting the appointments, speaking in Italian to go see the clerk when we went in to, you know, bring in the paperwork. I don't think that I would have had the skills to be able to do that even if I knew Italian. So to be able to have somebody who's here to be able to go through the process with me to fill out everything correctly, to make sure everything was done right so that we didn't have to redo any of the paperwork was amazing.
I had sort of prepared myself because you hear about these stories where this takes, you know, years and years and years, the red tape, government paperwork and all that stuff. So I had prepared myself every time we went to an office. Okay, this might take longer than you expect. Don't be worried if something isn't as easy as it seems. But we would go into all the appointments and Eleonora would be prepared with all the paperwork. And so actually it was really pretty smooth. There was only one little speed bump that was outside of her hands. It was nothing she had anything to do with. And she resolved it. She didn't quit working until she resolved it. And she handled it really professionally and we worked through it together. It was a fun little adventure. But everything, thankfully, went pretty smooth. Eleonora always told me where to go, what address to meet her, what to bring, what to expect, where to sign, what questions they were going to ask me, how long each appointment would take between the next appointment. You know, okay, now we accomplished this, in 2 weeks we're going to do this, and that sort of thing. She was wonderful.
When I started the process with ICA and we were collecting documents, one of the things that we had discovered was that my grandfather did not have a birth certificate. So I thought at that point, oh no, we're not moving forward anymore. So Eleonora researched everything, and because she knew what the Comune would accept for the paperwork, she knew that they would accept a baptismal record. So we were able to track down where he was baptized, get the paperwork. We also then noticed that he had a different name on the baptismal record. So we went through the process of lining all of the paperwork up, doing some name corrections and additions onto the other paperwork, and got that all finalized. She felt very confident that it would work and that it would be accepted. So when we went into the Comune, I was a bit nervous. You know, she said, it'll be fine. I'm very confident about this. It's going to be just fine. And it took a while for the clerk to look at all the paperwork because I had so much of it with all the other documentation that I had. But once she accepted it, I was so pleasantly relieved that it all went through. And it was because Eleonora knew exactly what we needed to do. And we even took steps that maybe we didn't need to do, but she wanted to make sure everything was completely done, that there were no mistakes, there was nothing that they would ask for later, and everything was accepted, so it was great.
Going through the documents and gathering through this whole process, I was able to discover that my great-grandparents had, my great-grandfather had taken a boat from Naples to New York to Ellis Island. He arrived with $12 in his pocket, and then my great-grandmother came later on, returned to Naples where she had another of my great uncles, and then she returned to the States with a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old in one of those ships across the ocean, which just makes them seem so amazing. I definitely channeled their spirits a lot when I was here, and especially, you know, I was trying to find an apartment, and I just remembered, I'm gonna get all teary-eyed, I just remembered how determined they must have been, and that's what made me think of that.
Going through and finding the documentation and everything that I needed to collect, I didn't find anything monumental, but it was really nice to be able to connect. I found the alien registration papers for my great-grandfather, and even just being able to speak with my dad and some other members of my family as we were trying to locate information and just be able to connect. I wouldn't say that I learned anything really new, but it was interesting. But I would like to say, when I came here and arrived in Milan, when I came over from the United States to start this whole process, I went into the Duomo and I lit some candles for my ancestors as well, and just was so grateful. I couldn't believe it, the opportunity that I had, because my ancestors came over the same way as everybody's did, and they left everything behind and they came over with babies and small children. And to be able to have that opportunity, that, you know, that they gave me this opportunity, it's really mind-blowing. It really is. It's like I feel such gratitude for it, that I'm able to have this experience and be able to give this to my children as well. So the citizenship just doesn't apply to me, it applies to my children as well, and they have the opportunity to be able to use it too. But it feels like we've come full circle. I think the biggest thing that this whole experience has given me coming here has also helped me to build my self-confidence and be able to have a completely different, totally new experience in my life. Humbling, extremely humbling, to learn what it feels like to be an immigrant, what my great-grandparents went through coming over, only speaking Italian, is how I feel coming here, where I only speak English. So you have an appreciation for what it feels like to move somewhere to another country where you don't speak the language and try to figure out how to get simple things like food in the grocery store and know what you're eating. Shampoo and conditioner for your hair. So it's a completely different experience. I couldn't imagine what it would have been like to come over with babies and really trying to establish yourself and breaking contact where we didn't have they didn't have cell phones, they didn't have anything, the communication skills or the communication opportunities that we have. I feel so fortunate that I'm able to call my family every day and speak with them. I'm able to find out every day how my family's doing. If there's any issues or any problems, I'm able to communicate with them with Zoom as well. So not only am I able to just talk with them on the phone, but we can video chat as well. And so that really changes the game. I also feel that being in Rovigo has also been really wonderful as well. And as for Nina as well, just the patience and being able to go into stores and having the people that live here patiently communicate with me as I'm needing to do stuff. I've also made friendships with other people. I'm really happy to be able to have also come to Rovigo as well and made the choice to come here specifically instead of picking another city to go to. When I signed up with ICA, I also had the option to be able to go into another city to do it as well, but I didn't want any surprises. And I knew that Eleonora knew exactly what needed to be done here. And then I would also be in contact with the company, which was also great that they were right here. So they were physically here to help me if I needed any help. And Eleonora has been a wonderful resource for other things that I've needed. And I've just been able to message her and ask her for things that I've needed here as well. But to be here in the town and have that opportunity has been great.
Yeah, if someone were to ask me about ICA, if they were interested in this process, I would recommend them 1000%, to be honest with you. From the minute I had my consultation with them, to my interactions with them now, and this is a long process, you'll get to know them very well over the course of months and whatnot, I would recommend ICA 1000% wholeheartedly.
I would recommend them 1000% as well. So I would recommend ICA to anybody who I talk to any friends, family, anybody who I came across who was interested in Italian citizenship to go through the process. It really has just been a remarkable process, and they have been here every step of the way. Every time that we've needed help, going through the whole process has been great with them.
For more information and to start your journey as an Italian citizen, visit Italiancitizenshipassistance.com.